Hello and welcome to Prime at 9. I'm Naomi Kigon. Now the news in details. Christians across the globe are observing Good Friday on April 15. Devotees attended church services in the national capital. People in Kerala attended church services depicting Jesus Christ's last hours. Good Friday is regarded as the day Jesus Christ was crucified on a cross. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, in a strong message to China, said that if harmed, India will not spare anyone. The Defence Minister was speaking at a reception hosted in his honour by the Indian Consulate in San Francisco. He spoke about the bravery shown by the Indian soldiers on the border with China. The Ladakh border standoff between the Chinese and the Indian armies began in May 2020 following a violent clash in the Bangong Lake area. The standoffs escalated after both troops clashed in the Galwan Valley on June 15, 2020, resulting in 20 Indian soldiers and undisclosed number of Chinese troops being killed. India and China have held 15 rounds of military talks till now to resolve the Eastern Ladakh standoff, due to which the two sides completed the disengagement process last year in the north and south banks of the Bangong Lake and in the Gogra area. While addressing the Indian-American community in San Francisco, Rajnath Singh also asserted that India, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has emerged as a powerful country and is headed to be among the top 3 economies of the world. He also sent a subtle message to the US, saying that New Delhi does not believe in the diplomacy of a zero-sum game, and its relationship with one country cannot be at the expense of the other. Opposition leaders in the state need not become investigators, prosecutors and judges in the case pertaining to the death of civil contractor Santosh Patil, Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai said on Friday. He was responding to increasing demands from opposition leaders to arrest Minister K.S. Eshwarappa in the case. The police should be allowed to do their job. Whether the police or the CBI, they did not arrest the 10 Home Minister K.J. George in the Ganapati suicide case. The police will decide what to do and what not to do. Why are Congress leaders anxious? Let the truth come out from the investigation, he said. Santosh Patil, 40, allegedly died by suicide on Tuesday after accusing Rural Development Minister K.S. Eshwarappa of defaulting on payments for road works implemented in the Hindalga village of Belagavi. Speaking to media persons at Hubballi Airport, the Chief Minister said there is no question of setback or embarrassment for the BJP due to the resignation of Eshwarappa. He is confident of coming out clean after the investigation. There are no personal issues here. The question of setback or advantage does not arise, he added.
ತನಿಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅವಾಗ ಇಡೀ ಕೇಸಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಯಾಮಗಳು ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ಯಾಂಶ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಪೊಲೀಸರು ತಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಜಾರ್ಜ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್.
Karnataka's Minister for Rural Development and Panchayat Raj RDPR K.S. Eshwarappa on Friday said that he will return to the cabinet as soon as his name is cleared in the investigation into accusations made by Santosh K. Patil, the contractor who allegedly died by suicide on Tuesday. A case of abetment to suicide has been filed against Eshwarappa. The statements come a day after Eshwarappa announced his resignation over mounting pressure from the political opposition and other sections of society after the death of Patil and allegations made by him accusing the minister of harassing the contractor for 40% commission to release payments of Rs 4 crore for public road work in Belagavi. The confidence of the minister to return to the cabinet stems from the fact that ministers who have been forced to resign before him have rarely faced jail time and almost always have secured a ticket, won with handsome margins and even returned to the cabinet. The newly elected Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has decided to add 12 National Assembly members of Pakistan Muslim League N and 7 members of Pakistan People's Party to his federal cabinet, a local media reported citing sources. Our BPP member Raja Pervez Ashraf is the candidate for National Assembly Speaker after the Speaker Asad Kaiser decided to resign from his post on late Saturday, while someone from Jamiat Ulema-e-Islam F might become the Deputy Speaker as Kazim Suri is currently facing no confidence motion, Geo News reported citing sources. According to sources, GUIF will get 3 ministers and a state minister portfolio, while Muttahida Qawmi Movement Pakistan will get the governorship of Sindh, PPP will get Punjab and JUIF will get Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and BNP-M will get the, according to sources, JUIF will get 3 ministers and a state minister portfolio, while Muttahida Qawmi Movement Pakistan will get the governorship of Sindh, PPP will get Punjab and JUIF will get Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and PNP-M. Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana has said filling up judicial vacancies is essential for improving access to justice and that he is making efforts to fill up all the judicial vacancies at all levels. Justice Ramana said the performance of any organization delivering any form of service must be assessed in terms of its effectiveness in achieving its goals. Talking about the effectiveness of achieving the goal of justice delivery, he said the most crucial issue affecting the Indian judiciary and particularly the subordinate judiciary is the issue of pendency.
First, after taking over as a Chief Justice, I have taken 2 important issues which is necessary, I thought which is more important. That is, one is the infrastructure of the judiciary, second is filling up the vacancies. The reason is access to justice is possible only when we provide sufficient number of courts as well as infrastructure so the people, the litigant public can approach the institution for justice. At the same time, our judiciary is overburdened. I don't want to bother all of you by giving the figures, statistics, etc. But it is admitted fact, there is no dispute. The pendency is increased, cases are coming out. The reasons are 100. I don't want to say that also.
Russia's defense ministry on Friday warned it will intensify attacks on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv in response to strikes on Russian soil after accusing Ukraine of targeting Russian border towns. The number of and scale of missile strikes against targets in Kyiv will increase in response to any terrorist attacks or sabotage committed by the Kyiv nationalist regime on Russian territory, the ministry said in its daily update. It added that Russian troops hit a military factory outside Kyiv late Thursday using Caliber C-based long-range missiles. The ministry also said its S-400 missile systems shot down a Ukrainian Mi-8 helicopter that carried out an attack on civilians in the locality of Klimovo in Bryansk region on April 14. On Thursday, Moscow accused Ukraine of sending helicopters to bomb a village in Russia's Bryansk region, not far from the border with Ukraine, injuring 8 people. Later the same day, the head of Russia's Belgorod region said a village close to the border was shelled by Ukraine, while residents from Tis and a nearby village had been evacuated as a precaution. Kyiv has denied a helicopter attack, instead accusing Russia of staging the incidents to stir up anti-Ukrainian hysteria in the country. Amid the Ukraine war and sanctions, Russia has begun delivering the second squadron of S-400 advanced surface-to-air missile defense system to India ahead of schedule, officials said. By end of this month, the delivery of the critical system will be completed and thereafter it will be deployed. The first squadron of the S-400 system arrived in India in December 2021 and has been deployed on the Punjab border to thwart any airstrikes from both Pakistan and China. India has procured 5 S-400 systems from Russia through a $5 billion deal signed in October 2018. All the 5 units of the S-400 system, which can take down a hostile aircraft or missile at a range between 40 km and 400 km, are expected to be operational by 2022. The S-400 system is capable of tracking, engaging and addressing the threat of Chinese or Pakistani fighters the moment they take off from air bases. The system can track multiple targets at multiple ranges and neutralize them simultaneously. India decided to upgrade its military infrastructure when the country was locked in a major face-off with China, along with the line of actual control in July 2020. The threat of 2 war-torn from China and Pakistan made India go for large-scale arms deals, and Russia is still one of India's largest arms suppliers. "44 children have tested positive for COVID-19 over the last 7 days, informed Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sunil Kumar Sharma on Friday. While talking to news agency IANS, Dr. Sharma said that out of all who tested positive, 16 are below the age of 18. After a steady decline over the last few days, the COVID infection rate is again heading north in Noida, with the active cases crossing the 150 mark. After a decline, the COVID infection rate is again showing an upward trend in Noida, and the number of active cases has crossed the 150 mark. All schools in Noida and adjoining areas have been directed to inform the health department immediately about any child with cough, cold, fever, diarrhea or showing any other symptoms of COVID-19 for timely treatment. Meanwhile, the Delhi government has also directed city schools that the wing concerned or even the whole school must be closed down for time being if any case is reported. India on Friday reported a marginal decline in fresh COVID cases at 949 as against 1,007 infections reported on the previous day. In the last 24 hours, 6 COVID-related deaths occurred across the nation. taking the death toll to 5,21,743, the Union Health Ministry said on Friday morning. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh today inaugurated Block Health Mela and telemedicine at Ayushman Bharat HWC as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav under the 100 Days Action Plan at N. Tomcho Public Ground, Mayang in Imphal. Speaking on the occasion, the Chief Minister lauded and congratulated the COVID-19 warriors for their tireless and fearless dedication to their service. Highlighting low vaccination percentage in some areas in the state, especially in the hills, the Chief Minister urged tribal officers to convince people to take the vaccine. Singh said that once the government completes the task under the 100 Days Action Plan, it will declare the works to be taken up on a yearly basis.
Me and who is a guy in the money have to never in a man there. But I condemned over them. Kari Indo Karisado in order to Maga Maduna can excuse you there. Alternative so many things. I don't know, Siki Kundantara to say that over the high. Alternative no in a palm of the Karino, the she already is the lawyer, no in a palm of Yamajan High. A way Karino Tabaya of the Bibiro. लंबी सेवियो मार्केटिंग जो उन्हें लेके जहाँ लंबी थारे करो पोर्ट को घूमने लंबी लेके तो यामना कंक्रीट कोई बा यामना मरण साम में यामों पुथोरे है तो ना पेंगार से तो जुआ बोले तो तो क्या तो बच्चों मुझे हारे बा डीसी ये तो दिमाग खाता रहे बस जगह उसकी घूमने खराब तो चे worstly affected by the poppy plantation मुझे खुंदु तो ना ते चिंदु तो ना ते मधुरे इफेक्ट हो रहा है यहाँ तो एक कोई ने कैसे थाई वैक्सीन से अकोई ना उसे पायप तक नहीं तो तीन दिन तक और अगर यूं ना थाई वैक्सीन से मशीन करी और ये से मशीन इवन तो सेफ्टी की काम को सीखी थोड़े सीले वैक्सीन से करी और कैसे नहीं चेक तो उधर कर रहे हैं मशीन टाइम नहीं तो उनको कोई प्रोटेक्ट हो गया देखो ओए नहीं कोई लाइफ स्पान से मामा तो को मंगा था नारा कोई लोई फिर नहीं कोई जब सीरियस नहीं से जब तू पुथोगा कॉफी तो पुथोगा जब तू फ्रीजर में चाह तो दिखला दे बा पर कदू पुथोना को होना पड़ता चल इबा केमिकल मायाम दुरे शिंगल आका का कोई ना थाई बसे नुदी की नेबे कोई में
N. Biren Singh also spoke on the Chief Minister's Health for All scheme. Saying health is wealth, CM said that the government is working towards uplift of the poor and to provide health benefits to them. Singh also appealed to all illegal encroachers on Loktak Lake to vacate their encroachments before the government takes up actions and save the lake. Further stating that the government will take up various development works for the people, he sought support of all and urged against creating disturbances to any kind of developmental work. Meanwhile, as part of the inauguration function, Chief Minister's Health for All Award, Imphal West Kayalp Award, Best Primary Health Center Award, Best Health and Wellness Center Award were also distributed. The centre has introduced fresh pension fund regulatory and developmental authority employee service regulations in the country, seeking different modes of recruitment and proportion of posts. The fresh regulation is called the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Employee Service Amendment Regulations 2022. It came into effect on Wednesday after the central government issued a Gazette notification by amending the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Employee Service Amendment Regulations 2015 by exercising the powers conferred by subsection 2 of section 11 read with subclause B of subsection 2 of section 52 of the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Act 2013 Act number 23 of 2013. As per the amendment, the mode of recruitment and the proportion of posts are to be filled up through different modes, and it will impact promotion, the deputation from government regulatory bodies, Reserve Bank of India, banks, financial institutions and academic institutions direct recruitment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said that the country will get a record number of new doctors in the coming 10 years due to the central government's plan of establishing a medical college in every district. Addressing the inaugural ceremony of the K.K. Patel Super Speciality Hospital in Gujarat's Bhuj district via video conferencing, the Prime Minister said that the government's effort to make medical education accessible for everyone will also help the cause. He stressed that the hospital in Bhuj will make good quality healthcare accessible to people at an affordable price. After an anonymous hackers breached into the system of oil headquarters in Assam on Tuesday, the hacker demanded a ransom and threatened that even though oil files were currently unavailable, it was possible to recover and restore them if the company cooperated. It also states that if the company cooperates, its data can be decrypted if the company abides by the instructions of the hackers. The letter also warned that if the company fails to cooperate, the loss would be entirely its own, as it would lose valuable data. If you don't want your sensitive data to be published on our blog, you have to act quickly, the threat letter read. The vital data hacked includes employees' personal details, contracts, a complete network map including credentials for local and remote services, and private financial information including client data, bills, budgets, annual reports, bank statements, among others. Time seems to be crucial for the oil. Meanwhile, two more central government nodal agencies, the National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center and the Computer Emergency Response Team of India, reached Duliajan yesterday and joined the investigation into the cyber attack by ransomware on oil's workstation at Duliajan. Another Delhi-based cyber expert team, which is internationally reputed to deal with cyber crimes, has been hired by oil and is working to provide possible solutions to the crisis at the earliest and to identify the hackers. Amid the unprecedented and dire economic crisis in Sri Lanka, a massive anti-government street protest has turned into an all-night vigil as thousands of demonstrators scattered at a Gulf Face area in capital city Colombo on April 15. This comes at a time when Sri Lanka is celebrating its New Year. Sri Lankans are protesting against the government's handling of the economic situation and demanded the resignation of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. With food and fuel shortages, soaring prices and power cuts, citizens are compelled to hit the road.
क्राउड तो देख रहे हैं ना, हर साल ये सेलिब्रेशन की रात है और ये हम घर पे मना रहे हैं। जो हमारे भाई लोग हैं, जो बुद्धिस्ट और हिंदू का न्यू ईयर चलता है और ये सेलिब्रेशन की रात थे, पर आप देख रहे हो सभी लोग इधर रोड पे खड़े होकर प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं सरकार के खिलाफ। ये क्यों कर रहे हैं कि आपने ही देखा होगा न्यूज़ पे कितना इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस है। 100 रुपए की चीज़ अब 400 रुपए पे हमको देनी पड़ती है। और सबके पास पैसे नहीं है। सरकार ने क्या किया है पैसे को, क्यों ऐसे बैंकरप्ट हुआ?
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.